Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Murid Nur Eisenberg here again. This is live stream number 12. Before I continue, you guys know the drill. Hold up for a second. Let me check to see if everything stream wise is going okay. Yeah, everything is fine as usual, and let's get this party started, so to speak. In any case, this is Pagan Gods Part 3. That means that I'm going to discuss Pagan Gods, specifically all that they have to offer. And we're simply going to pick up where we left pretty much last night or this morning for me. In any case, I hold on for the rest. Let me just notify one or two people that I am streaming, live streaming now, just to let you know. And I also need to share this in the Facebook group so that people know that I'm live streaming in my own Facebook group that I manage and whatnot. And then we'll get started. I hope everyone's doing okay in any case. I was not doing so well because it was ridiculously hot today, 38 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine? It's like I was on fire literally inside my own house and my air conditioner was not helping. It's only now that it's cooled off a bit. So yeah. Okay. So we are good to go. Yeah. People are coming online now. Low Perez says hi. Hello, Homer Simpson says hello too. Hello to everyone. It's also hot in Europe. A friend of mine told me today in the Netherlands that it was 32 degrees. So yeah. For people that are logging in or people that are coming online regarding joining this stream, the discussion will be again about pagan gods. This is part 3 on my thingy with pagan gods. So yeah, part 3 on my discussion regarding or in relation to pagan gods. And yeah, I have more pagan gods than I thought, or better said, more in my arsenal, and I will be covering them shortly, so don't worry about it. Just give me a second to get things going and up and running, and I'll start in a second. This also gives some people the chance to join. Come on. And I'm just going to do things miscellaneously, but I'm going to start off with Babylonian/Sumerian gods. And we'll simply take things from there, okay? Not that I have too much in the way of pagan gods that still need to be discussed. I finished up last night, as far as I can remember, somewhere around the Egyptian god Apep or Apophis. In any case, yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start off with the first spirit, which is called Anu. Long story short, Anu is the personification of the sky according to Mesopotamian religions. So let me start. Anu or An, A-N-U or A-N, is the divine personification of the sky, supreme god and ancestor of all the deities in ancient Mesopotamian religion. Anu was believed to be the supreme source of all authority for the other gods and for all mortal rulers. And he is described in one text as the one who contains the entire universe. He's identified with the north ecliptic pole centered in the constellation Draco, and along with his sons Enlil and Enki, constitutes the highest divine triad personifying the three bands of constellations of the vault of the sky. By the time of the earliest written records, Anu was rarely worshipped and veneration was instead devoted to his son Enlil. But throughout Mesopotamian history, the highest deity in the pantheon was always said to possess the Anutu, meaning heavenly power. Anu's primary role in myths is as the ancestor of the Anunnaki, the major deities of Sumerian religion. His primary cult center was the Eanna temple in the city of Uruk, but by the Akkadian period, that was between 2334 and 2154 BC, his authority in Uruk had largely been ceded to the goddess Inanna, the queen of heaven. Anu's consort in the earliest Sumerian text is the goddess Uras, but she's later the goddess Ki. And in Akkadian text, the goddess Antu, which name is a feminine form of Anu. Anu briefly appears in the Akkadian epic of Gilgamesh, in which his daughter Ishtar, the East Semitic equivalent to Inanna, persuades him to give her the bull of heaven. You'll have to excuse my you'll have to excuse my thingy, my ringtone in the background. Let me just set my telephone to vibrate so that nothing bothers me anymore during this stream. I forgot to do so. Hold up for a second. Hold up. Yeah, so yeah, let me continue. Okay, yeah, let's continue. Where was I? Anu briefly appears in the Akkadian epic of Gilgamesh, in which his daughter Ishtar, the East Semitic equivalent to Inanna, persuades him to give her the bull of heaven so that she may send it to attack Gilgamesh. The incident results in the death of Enkidu. In another legend, Anu summons the mortal hero Adapa before him for breaking the wing of the south wind. Anu orders for Adapa to be given the food and water of immortality, which Adapa refuses, having been warned beforehand by Enki that Anu will offer him the food and water of death. In ancient Hittite religion, Anu is a former ruler of the gods who was overthrown by his son Kumarbi, who bit off his father's genitals and gave birth to the storm god Tishub. Tishub overthrew Kumarbi, avenged Anu's mutilation, and became the new king of the gods. This story was later the basis for the castration of Uranus and Hesiod's theogony or theogony. Okay, so yeah, long story short, guys, Anu is the personification of the sky in Mesopotamian religion. So Mesopotamians regarded Anu as their supreme god. He was the main god. He was like their Zeus, you will, or as in Christian context, their Yahweh god. He was the equivalent of that. And yeah, as usual, I'm going to discuss what Anu can offer from an occult perspective. Anu is Saturnian, corresponding to 25 degrees in Aquarius. That 25 degrees standing for defiance, simply meaning that Anu works in an unconventional way. He does things in his own way, but things that aren't common. For the rest, Anu also has strong Piscean influences. Let me check. Anu is also an extremist. He'll push himself. He'll get you to push yourself as an operator to good limits, and yeah, Anu will also at the same time see to it that you remain hidden, or better said, that you don't stand out too much. I'll see to it at the same. He sees to it. He'll see to it at the same time that you don't push yourself too far. It's kind of a hypocritical thing, or a contradictory personality that Anu brings to the table. He's extreme, but a timid extremist. Have you ever heard of someone like that? Someone who is timid, but an extreme timist, or timidly extreme. In any case, yeah, that's what Anu can offer. So again, I repeat, he's Saturnian, corresponding to 25 degrees in Aquarius. And Anu can pretty much help you with everything that you can imagine, clairvoyance, as well as accomplishing one's desires, regardless of what you want. And Anu also deals with the element wind, of course, and can help you to master the element wind up to a certain degree or extent. And for the rest, you name it, Anu can simply get it all done. Okay, he's someone that covers multiple aspects of life. So whatever you need help with, he can help you with it, all depending on the situation at hand. But generally speaking, his strongest suits are clairvoyance and improving one's quality of life. That's what Anu stands for. And of course, mastering the element wind up to a certain degree or up to a certain extent. That's what Anu can do. Regarding appearance, Anu appears as a how should I put this? Anu appears as a creature with the body of a man, a very tall man, but with gray skin and the head of some bird-like or aviatory creature. Let's just say similar to a peacock. Let's just say a peacock's head. That's how Anu appears, and Anu speaks with a voice that would, generally speaking, be considered demonic. So Anu speaks with a dark, deep voice, but not guttural. A voice that's dark and deep and yet coherent and whatnot. And he also has wings. So yeah, that is it for Anu. Does anyone have any questions relating to him? Uh, okay, so yeah, anyone has questions? Does anyone have questions on Anu? I'm right here. If anyone has any questions, again, Homer Simpson and Lau Perez are online saying hello to them. Sia Sheila is also online. She says, these stories and tales are symbolic and are allegories. People tend to take them literally. I agree. And such as Hinduism, Canaanite religion, or Santeria. Yeah, I agree. Okay, these simple folk or people that are generally speaking not the brightest, people of the lowest classes. By classes, I mean general living standard, not money or economic situation. People tend to take these stories literally, but in reality, these stories were either metaphors or otherwise. They are, generally speaking, not meant to be taken as literal as people take them or as people interpret them. So yeah, Anu is also a powerful god. He is very strong. Uh, and yeah, honestly, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, I'm all ears. Siashila says Christianity too. Relating Christianity, yes, but that is clearly stated in Christianity. Okay, Jesus himself said in the New Testament that these people shall be spoken to in metaphors. So the things that he said were deliberately metaphors or analogies. They were not meant to be taken literally. You are supposed to draw life lessons or lessons on morality from them. Homer Simpson says, "Can the power to control wind give ability to fly if you master it?" Yes. Short answer is yes, 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 and again yes. So yeah, no one has any other questions on Anu. Let me see. For the rest, no, I don't see anyone else. I am still waiting patiently. people as Shamash, is the ancient Mesopotamian god of the sun, justice, morality, and truth. And the twin brother of the goddess Inanna, the queen of heaven. His main temples were in the cities of Separ and Larsha. He was believed to ride through the heavens in a sun chariot and see all things that happened in a day. He was the enforcer of divine justice and was thought to aid those in distress. According to Sumerian mythology, he helped protect Dumuzid when the Gala demons tied the dragon to the underworld, and he appeared to the hero Ziusudra after the Great Flood. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, he helps Gilgamesh defeat the ogre Humbaba. Okay, so yeah, there you have it. Long story short, the information on Utu or Shamash. I prefer to use the latter, Shamash. And yeah, Shamash was just got that. Shamash was a Mesopotamian god of the sun, and he covers the things that were appointed to him. Now, relating to hold up for a second, relating to the information on Shamash. Uh, Utu is Jupiterian, corresponds to 25 degrees in Pisces, and specialty is aid via occult means and enforcement in said matters. Specifically, protection, adaptability, and power or strength. Drawback is that he can be overbearing in doing so and is also distant or picky, wants only to be called upon when one really and truly needs him. And yeah, there you have it, relation to Shamash. Shamash is very strong and very powerful. I do need to point that out too. And yeah, that's pretty much it in relation to Shamash or Utu. Not a lot to say on him. Not a lot to say on him. Regarding appearance, Shamash appears as a Code 919 says hi, Moreno, hello. Shamash says, I mean, in relation to appearance, Shamash appears as a stereotypical Mesopotamian guy with a beard and everything, Muslim or Persian looking. He wears a sky blue robe and has sky blue wings, and his eyes are more black. So non-human eyes that don't have pupils pretty much. Uh, so yeah, that is it on Shamash. Does anyone have any questions for or in relation to Shamash or Utu? So that's pretty much it. Okay, Shamash was seen as the Mesopotamian god of the sun, justice, morality, and the truth. So he was a good god, a benevolent one. And regarding occult attributes, he is Jupiterian with a hint of Mars. Corresponds to 25 degrees in Pisces, and specialty is aid via occult means and enforcement in said matter. So he can help you out with occult affairs, specifically protection, so protection from evil spirits and whatnot, and from energies, being adaptable, and occult power and strength, so clairvoyance. And the only drawback in working with him in general is that he is picky and he can be overbearing. He doesn't like to be bothered and only wants to be called upon when absolutely necessary. That's it relating Shamash. Sia Sheila says feminine energy is chaotic, masculine energy is controlled. And she's asking whether she is right or left. I'm also going to say right now that people, listen, keep things on topic, okay? Let's stay on topic. We're not going to discuss general things. Pagan gods and relating need to be discussed. So I am not going to answer that question either. That's too much of a general statement. So again, stick to topic, stick to the topic at hand, the topic being discussed. Does anyone have any questions relating to Shamash? Any questions at all in relation to what I said about Shamash? I'll give you guys a second, of course. And after that, we're going to move on. So yeah, Sheila says I'm taking of working with gods that are male or female. I'm talking of working with gods that are male or female. Okay, then you need to explicitly state that if that is the case, because you can't conclude that from your statement. I heard that masculine deities like Ra and Shamash get it done in a controlled way, and feminine deities in a chaotic way. Nah, that's way too general, and that's an unjust bias. All spirits differ, and that accounts for, and that includes deities, that includes pagan gods and goddesses. So you can't just make a general statement that feminine gods or goddesses work chaotically and male gods, so gods work in a controlled way. That's obviously wrong. Code 919 says I just joined the stream as shaman pagan. You mean Shamash? Shamash is a pagan god. Okay, he was the Mesopotamian god of the sun, and I just discussed all of his stuff. I'm assuming that you heard it. For those of you that are interested in my, hold up. For those of you that are interested in my that are interested in my video on him, hold up for a second. I am going to copy and paste in the chat bar. Shamash. Yeah, that's Shamash. Homer Simpson says, "How much clairvoyance can the spirit? How much clairvoyance can the spirit bestow upon you?" Like I said, he can make you very clairvoyant. To be honest, Shamash is the only pagan god that I've seen up to this point that can make you clairvoyant in the way of that he does. So again, questions on Utu or Shamash? Okay, if no one has any questions, then we're going to move on. Code 919 is asking me what I'm drinking. I'm drinking orange juice. Moving on to the other one, another spirit, Kingu. Kingu, Kingu, also spelled Kingu with a Q, Qingu, meaning unskilled laborer, was a god in Babylonian mythology, and after the murder of his father Apsu, the consort of the goddess Tiamat, his mother, who wanted to establish him as ruler and leader of all gods before she was killed by Marduk. Tiamat gave Kingu the 3 tablets of destiny, which he wore as a breastplate and which gave him great power. She placed him as the general on her army or of her army. However, like Tiamat, Kingu was eventually killed by Marduk. Marduk mixed Kingu's blood with earth and used the clay to mold the first human beings. While Tiamat's body created the earth and the skies, Kingu then went to live in the underworld kingdom of Ereshkigal, along with the other deities who had sided with Tiamat. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so Kingu was also a god in Babylonian mythology, which fulfilled such a role. And now let's move on to what Kingu can offer. Kingu is mercurial, corresponding to 9 degrees in Virgo. Offers everything one can ask or need help with, and energy makes me a bit nauseous. These are taken from my own notes. Is adaptable, so Mercury alignment shows, so is willing to help in matters and very accepting and objective, not as a specialty though. Appearance is that of a Middle Eastern man, differently colored robes, red or purple, looks a lot like Fasago. So yeah, that is it on Kingu. Kingu is mercurial, 9 degrees in Virgo, very adaptable. And ironically, it's the exact opposite of what his name means. His name, I don't know if his name was meant as a paradox or whether his name was meant ironically, but he is definitely not an unskilled laborer. Quite the opposite. He's a craftsman and can help one in a variety of ways that one needs help in. And he's very accepting and objective. He can help with a lot of things regarding daily life and you name it, anything that you can think of, anything at all. Okay, he doesn't just cover one aspect or one facet, he covers multiple. So literally anything that you can think of, Kingu can help. But that's also normal based on his makeup, based on his character traits and all of that. Okay, here is the video on Kingu, the individual video on Kingu. So yeah, does anyone have any questions relating to Kingu? For anyone wanting to work with mercurial spirits, Kingu is good. Kingu is not great, but he is good. So especially someone that's fond of Babylonian religion, or someone that's fond of the Babylonian pantheon and what all it offers. Code 919 is asking me tablets of destiny as his breastplate. Yes, that's the story. That's just the story as the story goes. That's just what's said about Kingu. So did you have a specific question, Code 919, in relation to Kingu? Anything specific? Or is that unclear for you, the tablets of destiny as his breastplate? These tablets were simply his breastplate. And he was made the general of Tiamat's army, but he was later also killed by Marduk. Okay, if no one has any questions, I'm gonna move on to Inanna. Inanna is an ancient Mesopotamian goddess associated with love, beauty, sex, desire, fertility, war, justice, and political power. She was originally worshipped in Sumer and was later worshipped by the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians under the name Ishtar. She was known as the Queen of Heaven and was the patron goddess of the Inanna temple at the city of Uruk, which was her main cult center. She was associated with the planet Venus, and her most prominent symbols include the lion and eight-pointed star. Her husband was the god Dumuzid, later known as Tammuz, and her Shukal, or personal attendant, was the goddess Nin Shubur, who later became the male deity Papsukal. Inanna appears in more myths than any other Sumerian deity. Many of her myths involve her taking over the domains of other deities. She was believed to have stolen the mess, which represented all positive and negative aspects of civilization, from Enki, the god of wisdom. She was also believed to have taken over the Inanna temple from An, the god of the sky, or Anu. Alongside her twin brother Utu, later known as Shamash, Inanna was the enforcer of divine justice. So there you go. That's basically what Inanna or Ishtar is about. Okay. And relating to Inanna, Inanna is mercurial in Inanna is mercurial, corresponding to 12 degrees in Pisces. 12 degrees in Gemini. What am I saying, Pisces? 12 degrees in Gemini. Yeah. And listen up, Inanna. What does she offer? She offers engineering, mechanical work, and related inventive ability, and greatly so too. Very skilled in math and related, e.g., physics. Drawback is that she will make one overbearing and dominant in relationships, and thereby making love life harder. So that's what Inanna is about. There you've heard it. Something that I did not expect when researching Inanna. And yeah, Inanna is very nice, very strong, stronger than I expected, but that's a given based on her makeup, all the things that she can offer one. You name it, okay. Inanna does well. Strong mercurial spirit, pagan mercurial goddess. And yeah, anything that you can think of. You name it. Also, clairvoyance is also on the table. You name it. Intuition, improving one's intuition. Inanna has the whole package. So she has a lot to offer. So does anyone have any questions about Inanna? One other thing that I need to point out too is that there is confusion. Inanna is also the same as the goddess Astarte. So Inanna and Astarte or Ishtar are the same thing. It's simply that pantheons that came after Sumer, I think, as far as I know. gave her the name Ishtar or Astarte instead of Inanna. So she is one and the same. And there's also a stupid notion that has been going around since forever that the Goetic spirit Astaroth and Inanna, so Ishtar or Ishtara, is one and the same, which is not true, which is bullshit. Okay, the spirit Astaroth is different. He's just a fallen angel. Yes, and yeah, so Astaroth is just a fallen angel. I have covered Astaroth too in an article, in a video, and this video is surprisingly popular, very much so. And Inanna is a pagan goddess, Sumerian pagan goddess. So yeah. Sia Sheila says, how can I work with Kingu? Code 919 says, what website are you referring to? What do you mean, what website am I referring to? Sia Sheila says, for beginners, I have no occult items. I am expert in meditation. Do I have sage and candles? Why? Mother Mary is just a Western version of Inanna. So to speak, yes, but they're not one and the same. And stop asking me, please, whether you're right or left. It's starting to become annoying. Homer Simpson is asking me, can Inanna make you smarter by math and science? Yes, she can. She, just like I said, all things of an inventive nature, you name it, aside from clairvoyance, math, science, engineering, Inanna can get it done. So yeah, something that I did not expect, especially based on her traditional makeup. But again, that's since he's equated with Venus and all the things that she's associated with. But yeah, that's what you get for just being biased and not automatically assuming at face value what a goddess can do. Not that I did so, but someone that were to actually do so would make a grave error in doing so. Code 919 says, looks like almost every spirit gives clairvoyant abilities. As far as you know, who is the best at boosting clairvoyance? The best at boosting clairvoyance? It's no, that's really hard to call. I honestly can't. I can't say that about anyone. Okay, there's no specific pagan god or goddess that I know of that that I'd say that I'd make that statement of in the sense of, hey, that's the best. That spirit is the best one in terms of offering clairvoyant abilities and so on. No. Uh, Hold up for a second. Okay, this is the video on Inanna, Astarte, or Ishtar. Oh, Code 919 is asking me, where are you reading these spirits descriptions for later reference? Wikipedia. You can just consult the Wikipedia page. The links that I'm giving in the chat bar are links that lead to the videos that I've done on these spirits. So people can watch them. These are separate things that I've covered. So yeah, that is that. Oh, let me see. Let me see if I missed anyone. Oh, as a matter of fact, I did. Code 919 says, thank you, no problem. Come on, load quicker website. Okay, so I'm assuming that no one has any other questions about Inanna. So I'll give anyone 10 seconds or so to discuss anything that he or she wants to ask about Inanna. Okay, if not, then I'm gonna move on, of course, the way I always do. Someone new I haven't seen before called Zebonila or Bonia. Morino, you seem to be very result oriented when it comes to spirit. Other authors / YouTubers talk about building a relationship with the spirit. Yes, Not I seem. Okay, I'm assuming that you've only just met me online or that you have only just come into contact with my material on spirits or my occult material. I am 99% about results because results are the only thing that matter at the end of the day. You can bond with a spirit, you can put in all of this fucking effort and time and blah, 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 blah. And it does not mean a single thing, not one single thing, if you do not get results. Idiot. Okay, so no one has any questions. I'm going to move on from Inanna to Adramalech. I shall be doing Adramalech today. He is known as a god that was worshipped in biblical times. Citing 2 Kings 17:31 reports, the Sepharvites burned their children in the fire as sacrifices to Adramalech and Anamalech, the gods of Sepharvaim. NIV. The Sepharvites are given as a people deported by the Assyrians to Samaria. Adramalech and the god Anamalech, about whom likewise little is known, are again seemingly alluded to in 2 Kings 18:34. Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim, Hena, and Eva? Have they rescued Samaria from my hand? Isaiah 36:19 has an almost identical passage. I remember this, and what I also remember is that Adramalach rules Samael, the Clifford. When I visited back then during astral traveling, he appeared as a black stallion galloping me around me, and also when I did the Black Sun exercise. He asked me to write on him, and thus I am. I had the information on him back when a customer asked me about him due to an experience he had where he was saved from drowning or something similar. Adramalech is Jupiterian, Pisces, 25 degrees. This is correspondence, stands for fantastic or fanatical, and radical at that, like most that are associated with the Clifford. But he is a pagan god, as mentioned before, and was most likely demonized by Christians. I must point out, lastly, that a lot of spirits in the Goetia, as well as the Clifford rulers, are either lunar, Jupiterian, or Martian. Adramalech is good for money and overall success, aside from clairvoyance. Drawback in dealings with him is that he holds back and restricts himself, but as he puts it, I don't hold back, I am merely careful. So he has rules and morals in the sense of what he will do and what he won't. Kind of funny for a pagan god, but clearly even gods have morals. That is taken from my article. And yeah, Adramalech is also called the hold on for a second. Adramalech is also called the peacock because his appearance is that of a giant creature with the body of a man, the tail and the bushy end of a peacock, and the head of a horse or an ass, a donkey. Within a Kabbalistic context, for example, the Dictionary Infernal, Adramalech is a high chancellor of hell who tends to Satan's wardrobe. So yeah, and he's also one of the gods that is notorious for receiving animal sacrifices. Yeah. So that's it on Adramalech. You've heard what he can do, occult-wise speaking. I have 2 videos on Adramalech, one in which I discuss himself, and in the other in which I discuss specifically detailed information. Long story short, the whole child sacrificing is nothing more than a myth. Adramalech, I remember Adramalech explaining to me in detail that 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 people thought that children were sacrificed to him and Anamalech. Anamalech is a similar goddess. I will treat Anamalech in a second and tell you exactly what she's good at and what not. Hold up for a second. Let me just pull up their information. Come on. Okay. Yeah. In any case, they're 2 separate gods. I can tell you that. Adramalech is the male version and Anamalech is a female version. They're like brother and sister or husband and wife. In any case, in the second video called Detailed Information on Adramalech and Anamalech, I discuss Anamalech in general, and I discuss the fact that it's mentioned that children were sacrificed to them by having them burned in flames like other gods. For example, Moloch. In Moloch case, it's true. or in an oven pit. In an Amalek case, it's not true in a Adramalek's case. In the case of these two, by the way, like I said, in relation to Adramalek's appearance, last but not least, his skin is black or dark grayish, almost navy blue. That's the kind of skin both of them have. Whereas Anamalech, as a female form, also looking alienish or species-like in nature, is light grayish. Yes, but that's subject to appearance, of course. That's subject to change. In any case, the whole story about children being sacrificed to these two in particular, Adramelech and Anamelech, is a myth. Adramelech explained to me back then when I recorded this video that the whole passage that states the children were passed through the fire or something similar, that statement was taken out of context. It was taken literally. In reality, children were not literally sacrificed to them, but it was more of a baptizing ritual that was held in their honor. So, in the honor of Adramelech and Anamelech, whenever a child was born, and someone that a worshipper or a follower of Anamelech or Adramelech was the happy parent, father or mother, then they would carry out a ritual in which they would literally just have that child rapidly moved from left to right or the opposite way, in any case, from one point to another over a flame. For example, if a candle is here, they would simply let the children pass like this. It's like flickering your hand over a flame really quick. So the child was not harmed in question, and he also condemns that. He doesn't judge any other gods that accept these sacrifices, but he wants nothing to do with. He doesn't want to hear children being offered to him, and neither does Anamalech want that to be the case. So yeah, that story relating to them is bullshit. Children were not sacrificed in the name of Adramalech and Anamalech. This is the link to the article on the two, Adramalech primarily, and I discuss Anamalech too in the second video. Code 919 says relations from results is Morino's way. Code 919 says spirits won't lie. No, they can't lie. I'll know if they do so, because I myself confirm on what they're saying and whether it's true or false. But they have no reason to lie because they know that I'll uncover their lies, and yeah, my patron and vice patron are also here, so they know that they automatically see to it that no spirit lies, and yeah, that's all. So yeah, lying would not benefit them. Last but not least, they gain nothing from lying, nothing whatsoever. So that is that. And does anyone have any questions on Adramalech? If you open the article, you'll automatically see what he looks like, or his depiction in the Dictionnaire Infernal as a preview image on my a preview image of the article on my website. Yeah. So again, anyone have any questions? Any questions whatsoever in relation to Adramalech and Anamalech? While I wait for questions, if there are any, I'm going to discuss Anamalech. Anamalech is a lunar spirit corresponding to basically Anamalech was the lunar or female counterpart to Adramalech. No, and sorry, Adramalech was basically the sun god, and Anamalech was their moon goddess. I'm going to discuss it briefly in the Wikipedia page. Adramelech is an ancient Semitic god mentioned briefly by name in the Book of Kings, where he is described as the god of the Sepharvaim, a word which is grammatically dual. Sepharvaim is commonly but not certainly identified with the twin cities of Separ Yarum and Separ Amnam on the banks of the Euphrates north of Babylon. So yeah, that's it pretty much. But long story short, Adramelech was their sun god basically, and Tini was their moon goddess, Anamalech. And Adramelech is Jupiterian, like I said, corresponds to 25 degrees in Pisces. Check on my article, yeah. And Anamalech is lunar, corresponding to 7 degrees in Cancer. Anamalech can also be overbearing. I won't contest that. In terms of what she has to offer someone, let me check briefly. 19. Anamalach is someone that can help in numerous situations by basically playing and toying around with situations. Hold on for a second. I discussed in that second video what Anamalach can do, but of course I don't know it by memory. Anamalach can also help in romantic situations and improve one's love life. For the rest, clairvoyance is on the table, and so on. In relation to drawbacks in working with her, I'm not. Oh, right. The only drawback is that she can be a bit aggressive, or not aggressive, but let's just say overbearing in terms of working with you as a person. Let me see too. What the other thing is. She's also someone that is careful in Adramalech's work. So almost like holding back. Okay, she does not give it everything she has unless she sees that it is time to do so, or that that the situation calls for it, or she sees fit to do so. That's it on Anamalech, pretty much. If you want more information, just watch the second YouTube video. And yeah. Code 919 says he looks badass. Yes, he does. You could see why they called him the peacock. Zebonia says, is there a relation between other lunar deities like Ishtar, Nama, and Lilith? Not in a direct way, no. And Lilith is Jupiterian officially. She's Jupiterian, but her lunar influence is so strong that you can consider her to be lunar. But she is officially Jupiterian, corresponding to Pisces as a zodiac sign. So yeah, anyone have any questions on her, on Adramalech or Anamalech? Anamalech appears similar to Adramalech, but not as a peacock. She just appears as a woman that looks alien, so an extraterrestrial kind of woman. And yeah, she is of a lighter gray color, skin color, and she has a huge kind of like a Rasta Afro thing going on, not an Afro, but Rastafari thing hanging here. She just looks like a stereotypical alien from a sci-fi movie, Star Wars or something. That's what she looks like. Okay, Code 919 says Adramalech rules Samael. Yes, he rules the Clifford Samael within the context of the Kabbalah and within the Solomonic context, Adramelech, or within a demonic context, he was demonized obviously by Christians, and they appointed him as the ruler of the Clifford Samael. Okay, the Clifford that's named after my beloved Lord Samael. But yeah, Adramelech is ruled by him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But Adramelech rules over the Clifford, the sphere Samael. I remember back in the day when I astral traveled, I saw Adramelech sitting on a throne, a so-called throne, in that sphere Samael. It's just a dark, creepy, desolate place, like most of the Tree of Death. Does anyone have any other questions? Talking about pagan gods is making me a bit warm or a bit hot even, which I don't mind, but it's noticeable. And the energy makes me slightly nauseous, which I'm feeling or experiencing right now. Okay, so no one has any questions on Adramalech, so fine. Let me see whom else I care to discuss. Oh yeah. Code 919 says, why are you feeling it? You mean why I'm feeling that energy flow through me? It's the energy that all of these gods that I'm discussing give off because they're in my presence. The second I talk about them, the second I even think about them, there they are. And yeah, I can feel that energy flowing through me. And pagan energies, generally speaking, have that effect on me. Makes me slightly nauseous, like I drank too much of something or something. I've always had this, so yeah. Um, Let me see. Let me see if there's anyone else. Yeah, hold on for a second. I'll be moving on and I will be discussing the entity AOSOT. Taken from my article, The Research Files AOSOT. I'll be covering the entity AOSOT today. There is little known information on her out there. The only real thing that can be said about her is that she's one of the spirits that the occult order, the Order of the Nine Angles, works with. Long story short, the Order of the Nine Angles is a satanic and left-hand path occult group based in the United Kingdom, but with affiliated groups in various other parts of the world. Claiming to have been established in the 1960s, it rose to public recognition in the early 1980s, attracting attention for its neo-Nazi ideologies and activism. Describing its approach as traditional Satanism, it has been identified by academic researchers as also exhibiting hermetic and neo-pagan elements in its belief. And their symbol is kind of like a star looking like figure pointing downwards surrounded by a circle. Um the other two sources claim that she's Venusian, which is dead wrong. Eosot is Saturnian, corresponds to 10 degrees in Aquarius, stands for innovator, and specializes in karma, clairvoyance, and overall progress towards a magician. Wanting to work with her, she can offer financial aid and good fortune, but at the cost of unpleasant changes. She has told me that she's an egregore and therefore isn't a demon or angel or doesn't derive from any pagan god. But keep in mind that I have not confirmed her statement, but she has no reason to lie. She appears as a harpy looking creature, albeit very realistic and more serious looking. So that is it on AOSOT. This is the article. Just place the link in the chat bar. I see someone new that I haven't seen before, Eric Anderson, asking what we're talking about today. Code 919, thanks for filling him in. Pagan and Other Gods. So yeah, that is it on AOSOT. There's questions that I have for people that are listening to this live stream and people that care enough to answer. Eric Anderson says, I love her, Katie. No problem. You may love her, but I discussed her yesterday, so she's not on the table for today. In any case, relating to AOSOT, the questions that I have for you guys, what have you ever heard of AOSOT? What are your thoughts on her? And are you familiar with the Order of the Nine Angles? So let me know while I wait. I'm not hearing anything from anyone, so no one has any thoughts on AOSOT. AOSOTH. Code 990 says, honestly, I learned 90% of my occult knowledge from you. Thank you very much. Okay, no problem. Interesting tidbit. There is also a heavy metal band that was one of my favorite bands, but I haven't heard anything from them in a while, called AOSOT. That's where I got the inspiration. I listened to this band way before I listened to this band way before I even got into the occult. I still have their albums on my computer as a thingy. My favorite albums on them. I love their artwork and whatnot. My favorite album of them is called Arrow in Heart. I am going to place a link in the description, a link in the chat bar too for people that are interested. Arrow in Heart. Just a song, so you can see what it's all about. Aosot's band, for people that are by any coincidence also heavy metal fans, or people that like listening to heavy metal. This is black metal, occult black metal. Zebonia says, I've heard of the ONA, so Order of the Nine Angles. A little about a founder, but not so much. I think I have their intro book as PDF, okay. Eric Anderson says, your thoughts on Japanese gods? I don't have any thoughts on them. I am not fond of Japanese and Eastern pantheon so much. Code 919 says that music gives me weird vibes. Yeah, still one of my favorite bands, and that album that I made you listen to is still one of my favorite albums, or the song taken from that album. It is slow as opposed to their usual material, which is fast-paced black metal, really fast-paced stuff. But yeah, that's the reason I still have their albums on my thingy. And it was when I became a professional cultist that I thought to myself, let me see who the fuck Aosot really is. And yeah, that's what Aosot looks like indeed. Okay, she looks like a harpy. For those of you that are not familiar with what the harpy is, a harpy was seen as kind of like the aerial version of a mermaid. It's kind of like a half bat, half woman creature that was that's also beautiful, generally speaking, in appearance, and that can lure men away with singing or something similar to a siren. That's what a harpy is, and that's what Aosot appears as. Dark and blackish in appearance, but she's very friendly. No problem, really. Code 919 is asking me whether she's naked. Yes, she is naked, but genitalia is not showing. It's just covered up in a way. The same way you see it being covered up in cartoons and anime movies. Her focus is not on sexual desire, she says. She says she's more business oriented. Mark Omar has come online, says a few weeks ago I started summoning demons using the Ouija. I noticed that the invocation are not demon friendly, so I have been looking for invocations that are demon friendly. Where can I find them? You need to specify what you exactly mean by demon friendly. Demon friendly in what way? And I also need to tell you that the spirits in the Goetia, a good deal of them, or at least of more than a few of them, are not demons. They're not infernal. They're pagan. They're pagan spirits that were demonized by Christians or Christian-like civilizations when they overthrew the civilizations that worship them. The pagan civilizations that worship these pagan gods or pagan spirits. Um, Eric Anderson says, "Who is Moloch?" You also missed that. If you need to listen to yesterday's live stream number 11. If you want to know what, oh crap, live stream number 11. Listen to that if you want to listen to that. If you want to hear about Moloch, Moloch is also one of the gods I discuss. I discuss Moloch. I discuss Apep. Blah blah blah. Not going to discuss them today. I'm not going to repeat myself. Mark Omar says, I don't want to make them feel forced or threatened. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I can write one for you, but it's gonna cost you $100 to write an oration that is demon friendly and that you can use, and that has, generally speaking, some power attached to it. Sibunia is asking me, have you previously spoken about King Paimon or Sipar, about the original culture? No, regarding Paimon, not yet, but I will get to that. Thank you. And Zipar is a fallen angel. Zipar is not pagan. Code 919 says you look energetic at night times rather than daytimes. Nah, that's just the layout. Okay, it's nighttime in my location. It's 8:45 p.m. and the lighting is making me look different. You're just not used to seeing me this way. That's why. It has to do with the background. Sebunia says so. Abrahamic, yes, okay, not literally Abrahamic. He's just a fallen angel, similar to Lucifer, similar to Belial and whatnot. So now you know. So again, does anyone have any questions on AOSOT? No one has questions on AOSOT. I'm going to move on to Paimon. Thanks for reminding me of that. Paimon is one of the gods that I need to cover. I'll give people 10 to 20 seconds to make any other statements or questions that they have on either AOSOT or any other spirit that I have mentioned. Santix Mendes Osis says hi, hello, you've come online. So yeah, let me know. Oh, yeah. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Code 919 says nothing about AOSOT. Whom does Sipar fall under? He falls under Metatron. So again, anyone have any questions? No one has any questions on AOSOT. Okay, let's go then. Taken from my website, Paimon, the research files. I very recently got to invoking the Gorex spirit Paimon and have always wondered about him somewhere in the recesses of my mind. I consider him a heavy hitter like Belial and Lucifer. The Goetia lists Paimon as having a wide array of skills, treasure revealing, and the arts to name a few. When I did research on him, he turned out to be lunar, Cancer 14 degrees is his correspondence, a degree which stands for, you guessed it, a wide array of skills, so versatility, handicrafts, the arts, math, and finance. And then it dawned on me, it explains the being able to reveal things in the soil and the waters bit. That's part of his description in the Goetia. And the association with the West, since the moon deals with these things too. Cancer confers to the soil and the earth too from an horary perspective. The moon also rules water as an element. When invoking him, he took on the traditional Gueric look of a man riding a dromedary, a beautiful man at that too, wearing blue and having a diplomatic-like voice. He was, as the Goetia lists again, accompanied by two assistants whom he dismissed after he saw that I'd rather not have them there. He also had a tail, but did away quickly with that too. He's thanking me for writing this as I am typing this. I also remember him wearing some kind of male tiara with a gem in the middle, so on his forehead. Paimon's a perfectionist, and it showed since he has asked me specifically pertaining my goal how I want it to be done. I had difficulty making out facial features in detail, and he told me to save my energy since that's how he appears. His words were, "Don't even bother, Morino. This is how I appear. No need to look at my hair or in detail or my face." Lastly, he is indeed accompanied by a host of spirits since I noticed that there was a good deal of energy buzzing about even an hour after the ritual. My patron told me that he'll clean house and they were gone after a minute or so. And that is it. And for the rest, I have my video on Paimon, which is very popular. Video on Paimon is the fifth or sixth most popular video. So yeah, there you have it, you guys. And that is pretty much it. That's pretty much it on Paimon. In terms of Paimon's pagan background, since I didn't mention anything relating to that, Paimon is most likely, but I'm saying most likely because I did not look too deep into the matter, but he is a demonization of a caravan god that was worshipped as a sun or a moon god. And he was simply worshipped by nomads, and he was seen as the protector of their caravans and whatnot, blah blah blah, etc., etc. Um, so yeah, that's it on Paimon. It was an Eastern or a Middle Eastern culture, a desert-like culture based on his appearance that worshipped him, and that's where he is derived from. Marco Man says, so far I have summoned Satan, Lucifer, and Astaroth. They have been very helpful, and I get along very well with them. Yeah, good for you. Doc Carbon, someone I haven't seen before, is asking me what's your take on Nostradamus, the Revelation 12. The 3 Days of Darkness, Antichrist, Satan Walking the Earth book, The Secret History of the World by Jonathan Black. I have no opinion on it. Eric Anderson says, actually, I have a dream about King Paimon. It's Paimon, and you don't have to use the title King. Okay, in one of my live streams, I discussed that these titles are nothing but bullshit. So it's just Paimon, not King Paimon. So yeah, that's it. But the rest, Paimon is very friendly. That's the way he appears with his dromedary. Sometimes on very few occasions, a horse or a camel. Sometimes he has dress, other times he's not. He just appears as a guy that's feminine, but has no genitalia or anything like that. Has a tail. So basically, his appearance is similar to what you can see in his preview image in the article that which I'm going to place in the chat bar. There you go. So yeah, that's it on Paimon. Anyone that hasn't watched my video that is embedded in this article, go ahead. Paimon is very popular, and his video is one of my most, like I said, one of my most popular videos. Let me check exactly. Oh, let me see. Come on, hurry up, YouTube. Don't have all day. Hurry the fuck up, YouTube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's number 8 in terms of my all-time videos. Keep in mind, I recorded this video in May 26th of last year. So May the 26th, 2018. And where the video is only a year and a month old, so 13 months old. And this video has over 3,000 views with 54 likes, 54 upvotes, 26 comments, and 4 downvotes. All of that within a year. Sibunia says he became popular after the Hereditary movie. No, this was way before Hereditary even came out. Paimon has always been popular for reasons that I'm not really aware. The majority even of people that are interested in Paimon have no idea on who Paimon really is. So occult-wise, they just see him as some kind of cool spirit from the Goetia, a demonic book, and blah blah blah. They also think that Paimon's a demon and blah blah blah, more bullshit. But someone like me that knows what Paimon is really about, yeah. No offense to Paimon. Paimon is an impressive pagan god, but that's it. And I hated, by the way, I hated that movie, The Hereditary. That's why I don't watch movies that have an occult context because it's too hard to turn off my brain and actually enjoy the movie when it's nothing more than bullshit that's being put on display. Okay. The people that make these movies obviously have no idea on what the occult is about, let alone what the spirits are about. They just look for cool names of demons. For example, hey, we need a name for this demon that these people will be worshipping. Just look up, cool demons online. Oh, look, that one looks good. What's it? How's it pronounced? Paimon. Yes, Paimon. Excellent. Look, he's on a dromedary. He's so cool. Okay, that's it. We have our demon. Paimon's not a fucking demon. This accounts for practically every occult movie out there. I tried to watch The Exorcist, the beginning, a few days ago, the one where Father Merrin is in the desert. And the movie's allegedly about the place being haunted because it's said that Lucifer fell there in Africa. And I just couldn't watch the fucking movie. I couldn't stomach it anymore. I tried to stomach it, but halfway I said, no, fuck it. I downloaded the movie in HD and I just deleted it. I was like, no. I can't watch any more of this bullcrap. So yeah, that is it. Again, any questions on Paimon? Code 919 says they do know about the occult. They're just making these movies to not hand the power to people. That's your opinion, with all due respect, okay? Based on what I know, what I can tell from based on what I can tell from general, this is not just one movie. I'm talking about all movies with an occult undertone, or movies in which so-called demons or occult spirits that are familiar to occultists that we work with as occultists are mentioned. All of these spirits are. All of these movies are so bad in terms of storyline. You can clearly tell that it's someone that doesn't know jack shit about the occult, okay, or that specific spirit. For one, all of these spirits are seen as demons. Pazuzu in The Exorcist was not a demon, is not a demon. They don't even know what Pazuzu does. They just wanted a cool spirit and boom, Pazuzu. Same goes for the right with Anthony Hopkins, got that piece of shit movie Insulting Beautiful Bill with the stupid frogs and and it just goes on. Okay, I can't stand these fucking movies. So, Doc Corbin says, "What's the relationship between the Vatican and Lucifer?" I have no idea. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Ask the Vatican. Um. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions on Paimon? Paimon, in terms of description, has to be one of these spirits that is whose attributes are listed as accurately as possible relating to the Goetia. Usually, the writer of the Goetia gets some things wrong. The attributes are either halfway correct or they're completely incorrect, completely wrong. But Paimon's description in the Goetia in terms of what he can do, although a bit exaggerated, are spot on. So yeah, kudos to the writer. At least he got one right, so to speak. So yeah, anyone have any questions? No one has questions on Paimon, okay? Gonna move on then. Let me see. I am going to discuss next. I will be discussing the Greek god of war, Ares or Ares. Oh, Zebonia is asking me, do you work with offerings to spirits like Paimon? No. Marco Mars says, I have noticed that every time I summon these spirits, I seem to go into the state of spiritual ecstasy and there seems to be a very peaceful atmosphere. That's normal. Code 919 says, I suggest you please share the article before you read it, Morino, so we can follow along. Okay, so you want me to share the article before I read it to you guys? Sure about that? Oops. Because I read it first because, of course, you guys are listening to me, I'm assuming. So, yeah. So, yeah, hence that. So, what do other people think? Do you want the article before or afterwards? I actually talk about the topic at hand. Let me know. I'll give a brief pause before I continue to Ares. Oopsie daisy. Oops. Sharing article first, yay or nay? Who wants me to share the article first? Dorso just came online, says it doesn't matter. Okay. Eric Anderson says who is Pazuzu? Again, you're way too late for the party, okay? You're late to the party, an hour late even. I discussed all of these things in the previous live stream. So watch the previous live stream. Santix Mendes also says he has a question. What is your question? Okay. Dorso says just do whatever is more convenient. Yeah, I have no problem with it. Code 919, fine. Have it your way then. I will be sharing the article first so you can follow along specifically. There you go. Ares or Ares, there is my article on him. So yeah, knock yourself out while I read it. Sebunia says I have to go, man. Thanks for the info. It's very, very interesting. I'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, sure. Eric Anderson says, is he good for farming? Pazuzu. Whether Pazuzu is good for farming. Pazuzu is specifically deals with chasing away evil spirits in weather. So indirectly, but you'd have to influence the weather. It's better to work with a spirit that can influence farming directly in terms of cultivating plants and crops. Santik says when the Romans began to worship the Greek pantheon, did they worship the planet or the god? It was one and the same, okay? The Romans worked from a more planetary perspective. That's why they called Hades Pluto and Jupiter, Zeus Jupiter. But they were referring to one and the same entity, not literally the planet. Santix Mendes also says they worship Ares by the name of Mars or just the planet Mars. By the name, okay? And with that, I'm going to start. The research files Ares or Ares. I'll be covering the Greek god Ares today, or Ares. He is known as the god of war to the Greeks. And now I'm going to read a snippet from the Wikipedia page. Ares or Ares, Ares, is the Greek god of war. He's one of the 12 Olympians, the son of Zeus and Hera. In Greek literature, he often represents the physical or violent and untamed aspect of war, in contrast to his sister, the armored Athena, who functions as a goddess of intelligence, include military strategy and generalship. The Greeks were ambivalent towards Ares. Although he embodied the physical valor necessary for success in war, he was a dangerous force, overwhelming, insatiable in battle, destructive, and manslaughtering. His sons Phobos, Fear, and Deimos, Terror, and his lover or sister Enyo, Discord, accompanied him on his war chariot. In the Iliad, his father Zeus tells him that he is the god most hateful to him. An association with Ares endows and places objects with a savage, dangerous, or militarized quality. His value as a war god is placed in doubt during the Trojan War. Ares was on the losing side, while Athena, often depicted in Greek art as holding Nike victory in her hand, favored the triumphant Greeks. So yeah, there you go. That's a snippet. Eric Anderson is asking me if I've ever played God of War before. No, but I'm familiar with the video game in which Ares is mentioned. In any case, Ares is of course Martian, 15 degrees, and Ares stands for headstrong and is therefore suited for things associated with Mars and falls under my Lord Samael, battle, war, physical strength, tenacity, and so on. Practical examples are gaining courage, physical fortitude. I must, however, note that Ares is an unstable companion emotionally and reacts by impulse. He is prone to change his mind and behave erratically. This should come to no surprise based on his profile. He is more primal and can behave like a wild animal, untamed in that aspect. Aside from the above, Ares can also have you see through the intentions of others and thwart those plans, a specialty of him. He can be friendly despite his character and dealings, and appears as a Roman soldier with shield and spear, reddish and golden. And then my video embedded. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Ares or Ares? I'm just going to use Ares. Long story short, Ares is simply the personification of the zodiac sign Aries, which stands for one of the things that Aries stands for, aside from courage and valor, is aggression, leadership ability, taking the initiative, strife, chaos, war, you name it. So Aries is simply a personification of the zodiac sign, which represented all of these things to the Greeks and those that followed him. They called upon Ares in times of war, and it was similar to Father Ares, I pray to you, help me in combat, blah blah blah. Give me the strength and whatnot, blah blah blah, etc. etc. But you can imagine, okay, someone like that is like is like a bull, a wild bull. That's what you can compare Ares to. Ares fights by impulse, of course, because Mars and Ares is also known by impulse. And the benefit of such a thing is incredible strength and power and leadership, but the drawback is a lack of intellect, a lack of intelligence, balance, and strategy. So yeah, it balances itself out. And despite all of these things, Ares is normal to talk to, like a normal human being. He appears as a Roman soldier, reddish golden, like I said, with a shield and a spear and a sword, and is engulfed in flames, more or less. But is still not someone that won't listen to a single thing you're saying. He is someone that can be spoken to as a normal human being and does possess a certain level of rational thinking. So yeah. Code 919 says, what could you learn from Aries? I already said what you can learn from Aries. So yeah, that is it. Does anyone have any other thoughts on Aries? Anyone have any other thoughts on Aries? Aries is especially familiar in pop media. He is present in the movie. He's present in the movie. What's it called? Wrath of the Titans. Yeah, Wrath of the Titans, and he's also known in the video game God of War. The video game God of War is named after him, of course. So that's why. Hold on for a second. The guy. So yeah, that is it. I'm going to show you guys. It seems appropriate. Wrath of the Titans, Ares scene. I'm going to show you a scene where Ares battles Perseus, and in the movie The Wrath of the Titans, just so that you guys, in case you guys haven't seen it before, just for clarification's sake.
Everybody back! You betrayed our father. He betrayed me by choosing you. We are brothers, not equal.
So yeah, there you guys have it. Okay, that is pretty much what Ares is like. Very fanatical, very warlike, embodiment of war, blah blah blah. And this movie that I just showed you guys a snippet from, a small part, Wrath of the Titans, it's called. This movie actually portrays Ares quite well in terms of radical behavior. So yeah. And yeah, so Ares can turn you into a badass like no other, okay? But the drawback is that he'll also cancel out he'll downgrade your intellectual faculties. So that means that you won't think, you'll just rush in headlong. And that's not healthy, okay? You need to be balanced. And like I said, his warlike counterpart was Athena. Athena, the war goddess, did things via strategy and via battle planning, not just brute force and chaotic behavior. So yeah, that's what Ares is about. Nevertheless, as a god, Ares is still someone you can talk to and discuss matters with. He's not a loose cannon, a complete loose cannon. And let me see if there is anyone else that I need to cover. Anything else that let me see. Any other god that I need to cover? There are a couple of other gods. Does anyone have a suggestion on which god he or she wants me to cover? Because I am not gonna lie to you. I still have a couple of spirits left, paganistic in nature, but I don't feel like discussing them. I just know it's in no way meant offensively towards them. I just don't feel like discussing them, period. So no, I don't feel like discussing them. But I've been streaming for 84 minutes. That's approximately close to an hour and a half. And I don't feel like closing off the live stream now. So yeah. Right now, you guys can either suggest any spirit towards me. You guys can suggest make any spirit suggestion on a pagan god that you want me to summon, or not summon, sorry, a pagan god that you want me to discuss, or just any miscellaneous topic. So yeah, because I'm basically done talking about whatever I was going to talk about. I'm done with the topic of pagan gods. Santix Mendoza says, so it's good for him to appear in media regardless of how he is portrayed. Yes, even bad attention is good attention. I am getting things from you guys. Code 919 is asking me to cover Scylla. Scylla was a mythical dragon-like creature. Scylla is not it's not so much a god really. It's just a weak thought form. Doc Carbon says, what about Rahu? And Santix Mendes Osis is asking me about Baldur. Eric Anderson says, look nice. I have no idea what you're referring to. You mean that I look nice? In any case, let me discuss Scylla. Scylla was a sea monster who haunted the rocks of a narrow strait opposite the whirlpool of Charybdis, or Charybdis. Ships who sailed too close to her rocks would lose 6 men to her ravenous darting heads. Homer describes Scylla as a creature with 12 dangling feet, 6 long necks, and grisly heads, lined with a triple row of sharp teeth. Her voice was likened to the yelping of dogs. This description of Scylla is probably derived from the imagery of words associated with her name, namely meaning hermit crab. In Greek, skylaros, dog, and dog shark, skylax, and to ran skylio. In classical art, she was depicted as a fish-tailed sea goddess with a cluster of canine foreparts surrounding her waist. According to late classical writers, she was once a beautiful nymph loved by the sea god Glaucus, but her jealous rival, the witch Circe, employed magic to transform her into a monster. Older poets, however, envisaged Scylla as simply a monster born into a monstrous family. So that is Scylla. Yeah, that's Scylla. I have no thoughts on Scylla. Like I said, Scylla is simply a weak thought form. That's it. So yeah, no thoughts on her. In relation to Baldur, I need to check to see if I can remember it correctly. I either have a video on Thingy or Baldur, either a video or an article on Baldur. Yes, I do have Baldur. So you're in luck, Santix Mendes Osis. So yeah, let me hop on over to Baldur. The Norse god Baldur was a brother of Thor and was the god of joy. Hold on, let me share the article first. Baldur. Baldr. Yeah. The Norse god Baldur was a brother of Thor and was the god of joy and the summer for one. I'll be doing him today. Baldur is Martian, 11 degrees in Aries is his correspondence, stands for changeable, and thusly good for all Martian affairs, and that's his strong suit. Aside from that, he also deals well with money and fertility matters, so he is really a lot like Thor in that regard. In Norse mythology, his death also brings about the end, or Ragnarok, as it's called to the Norse. The description, in addition to being loved by all gods and more physical beings, he was so handsome, generous, and good that he gave off light simply by the purity of his character, denotes his personality. His appearance is that of a blond man in Norse clothing, but he can easily change his demeanor based on the operator, which he did with me. Baldur is basically the Norse version of Lucifer, as in being the light bringer. That's my article. Any questions on Baldur? Now that I'm talking about Baldur, it reminds me of it's reminiscent of a video game that I played called Baldur's Gate. But I didn't like that video game. It was too primitive. But I did play it, Baldur's Gate. Really old video game. I think in the 90s or something. And Doc Carbon is asking, what about Rahu? Rahu is specifically just an astrological body. Okay, Rahu and Ketu simply reflect to the north and the south node. Ketu is the south node and Rahu was the north node. But yeah, Rahu can also be equated to an Indian deity. But I'm not going to discuss it. I'm not fond of Indian deities. I'm not going to lie. The Indian pantheon as a whole. Baldur appears in a new god of war. Shantix Mendes Osis says, yeah, that's normal. You know. So that is it. Thanatos. I really don't have any code 919. I don't have any thingy on Thanatos. I don't have any opinion on Thanatos. I am familiar with Thanatos, but I am not familiar with its occult properties. So yeah, Code 919 continues to say that Rahu and Ketu are just imaginary points, and I agree with him. Rahu and Ketu, the lunar and the south, the lunar north and south nodes are just mathematical points. They're not actually existing entities. I mean, actual existing celestial bodies. They're just imaginary points that serve a minor purpose, so to speak, overall in Western astrology. Eric Anderson is asking me who Freya is. Good that you asked that. I have an article on Freya. Let me cover. My article on her is very short. Freya, I'll be covering the Norse goddess Freya today. She was known as the goddess of beauty, love, material possessions, and so on. I'm gonna read briefly from a website that is linked in my article. Freya, or Old Norse Freya, meaning lady, is one of the preeminent goddesses in Norse mythology. She's a member of the Vanir tribe of deities, but became an honorary member of the Aesir gods after the Aesir-Vanir War. Her father is Njord, her mother is unknown but could be Nertus. Freyr is her brother. Her husband, named Oder, in the late Old Norse literature is certainly none other than Odin, and accordingly Freya is ultimately identical with Odin's wife Frigg. See below for a discussion of this. Freya is famous for her fondness of love, fertility, beauty, and fine material possessions, and because of these predilections, she is considered to be something of the party girl of the Aesir. She also looks like a hot piece of ass. In one of the Eddic poems, for example, Loki accuses Freya, probably accurately, of having slept with all of the gods and elves, including her brother. She certainly is a passionate seeker after pleasures and thrills, but she's a lot more than only that. Freya is the archetype of the vulva, a professional or semi-professional practitioner of the Seder, the most organized form of Norse magic. It was she who first brought this art to the gods and by extension to humans as well, given her expertise in controlling and manipulating the desires, health, and prosperity of others. She's a being whose knowledge and power are almost without equal. And yeah, I'm going to stop reading there and hop on over to my article again. Occult-wise, Freya is Venusian, so no surprise there. 14 degrees in Taurus and materialistic at that. The same thing she can provide one in. She can also see the peace and tranquility between family members and romantic partners, domestically speaking, but tends to overdo this, and the romance via her will be superficial, so no marriage partners will come flocking your way. Expect flings, not marriage. She can also give instructions and make one wiser on the occult or magic itself, one of the things she was known for. Appearances as depicted in the featured image. So yeah, Freya is definitely she's definitely one of my favorite Norse goddesses, I'll tell you that. Santix is asking, are Freya and Frigg the same spirit or no? Yes, that's what the source article that I read from, not my article. The article that I have in turn linked in my article says so. And yeah, Freya stays true to her attributes. So her lore attributes align perfectly with her occult attributes. Bluntly put, Freya is a tasty piece of ass. Too bad she's not an actual woman, physical woman. Yeah. So that's it regarding Freya. Anyone have any questions on Freya? I'll give you a second in relation to asking questions on Freya. Questions about Freya, please. Does anyone have any questions on Freya? No one has any questions on Freya. I'm seeing a bunch of freaky stuff. Some of them are beautiful, very beautiful, but others are just holy crap. Others are just Santix is asking, so she's not the best on love issues. She's one of the best in love issues. But keep in mind that she's more the party girl, so love interests and romantic interests will be superficial, like I stated. What kind of magic does she specialize on? Norse magic, so paganistic magic, witchcraft specifically, she says, and Wicca, in your, as you would label it. Code 919. People that want to check out this link can check out this link. Guys, you can check out this link, but be warned, okay? A bunch of freaky stuff is in. Wait a minute. I can't share the link with you guys. Oh, crap. Okay, fine. Never mind then. Never mind. I was going to show you guys a couple of freaky things that if I Google Freya and a couple of other things, then yeah, the results I'm getting are, are kind of, whoa. In any case, yeah, that was Freya. Anyone have any questions on Freya? Dorj was asking me what kind of offerings does she prefer? Anything, but specifically materialistic things. We're talking about money and precious items that are expensive and that are either expensive or hard to obtain. So yeah, that is it on Freya. Freya's quite beautiful, very nice, very hot and everything. The man that passes up Freya is not right in the head. So yeah, anyone have any questions on Freya? And if not, then feel free to suggest any other kind of spirit that you want me to cover. Perfumes, Santix is asking me. Yeah, perfumes is also good. Freya likes all things that either cost a lot, are fashionable, and are hard to obtain. Very promiscuous too. Okay, so yeah. Any other questions on any other spirits? Oh, Code 919 is asking me, why are you so interested about her? Are you talking to me or Santix Mendes Osis? Doc Carbon is asking me experiences with Rome from the Goetia. I need to check. Hold on for a second on whether I have. Do I have an article on Rome? No, not really. No article on Rome. Oh, me, Marino. Okay, you, Marino. The reason I'm not specifically interested in her, but now that you brought it up and based on her personality, let's just say she's my kind of woman. Let me put it that way. She's my kind of woman. And another reason is that while we were talking about her, she appeared, of course, and well, let's just say she flashed me, and that's it. She flashed me and did a bit more. So hence me is briefly smiling while discussing her. Oh, you should see what. Oh, you should really walk in my shoes for a day when discussing these things via live streams, and then you'll see. So yeah, that is it. Let me check to see if I have a video on Rom. Like I said, she's a hot piece of ass. Okay, it's too bad she's not a physical woman. Yeah, it's definitely no. I'm sorry. Doc Carbon. Sorry, I have no opinion on. No opinion on Rome. Okay, I have no article or video on Rome. So no. Code 919 says live porn for Morino. Yeah, not live porn. Let's just say astral porn. Um, Interestingly, she never did that. She simply appears as a shield maiden. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Vikings. There's an interesting sitcom called Vikings, and I especially like Lagertha's character. I forgot the name of the actress that plays Lagertha, beautiful blonde woman, Canadian actress. But yeah, when I dealt with Freya, she painted me as a shield maiden. She appeared to me as a basic shield maiden wearing a pelt of fur and whatnot. But since we discussed her promiscuous side just now, she just, took off the pelt and showed me the goodies and briefly rubbed up against me and tried to seduce me. And I was just, let's just say I did my best to keep my focus on the live stream instead of not focusing on her specifically. Can be mesmerizing. Okay, Code 919 says this piqued my interest on developing my astral senses. Yeah. That's why I'm saying it's too bad that she's not a physical live woman. But yeah, in any case, like I said, she's my kind of woman based on her description. Meat, top quality meat. In any case, I unfortunately do not watch thingy anymore, Vikings anymore, because it's gotten kind of boring and it's not interesting anymore. So I need to see. But I did watch the first couple of seasons, and it was interesting. That's all. Vikings is not interesting anymore. This was back when they invaded England and Great Britain. So yeah, does anyone have any other spirits to ask me about or discuss about, specifically pagan spirits? I'm seeing if I missed someone. Yeah, I did miss a couple of guys, so I'm gonna go over them. And why not? It's not like I have anything else. Is Asmodean a pagan god, demonized, or an actual demon? He's an actual demon, fallen angel. Code 919 is suggesting Baraiva. Bhairava. Sorry, Bhairava. Bhairava is an Indian movie I'm seeing here. Or is it? Oh, sorry, Bhairava goddess or god. Hindu deity. I'm sorry. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to discuss Hindu deities. The only one, honestly, that really interested me was Kali. That briefly interested me, and hence me only discussing Kali. But for the rest, I'm not really interested in Eastern goddesses and Eastern gods. I like to keep things Western. In any case, yeah, let me move on. I'm going to discuss Gaia now. I'll be covering the goddess Gaia, a pagan goddess Gaia this time, the Greek goddess Gaia. 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 The Greek goddess Gaia, she is the mother of the earth and nature. See here for more information on her. Wikipedia, Gaia. In Greek mythology, Gaia from ancient Greek is a poetic form of land or earth, also spelled Gaia. Gaea is the personification of the earth and one of the Greek primordial deities. Gaia is the ancestral mother of all life, the primal mother of earth goddess. She is the immediate parent of Uranus, the sky, from whose sexual union she bore the Titans, themselves parents many of the Olympian gods, and the giants and of Pontus, the sea, from whose union she bore the primordial sea gods. Her equivalent in the Roman pantheon was Terra. Yeah. I personally don't like pagan gods, as my followers already know, for their lack of power, for one, and the fact that they are man-made spirits. But I was inspired after playing a video game out of boredom called Age of Mythology: The Titans, in which she is a selectable deity. It's not all about power, and some pagan entities are good to work with, and Gaia is another one of them. Surely enough, thinking about it drew her to me, and she offered to talk to me on what she has to offer without compensation via an offering or otherwise. She is good for everyday things, communication overall, clairvoyance to a lesser degree, nature-related matters, mental pursuits, education-wise, maternal matters, and so on. She welcomes followers but does not want to return to her former level of glory and mass attention. She is fond of her peace and also does not want people to ask her for vengeful tasks, e.g., harming someone despite her being able to do so to a certain extent. Gaia corresponds to Mercury with Gemini as a zodiac sign. 28 degrees in Gemini stands for originality and says that a seal is not necessary, but people that are used to working with seals can use one of a hexagram with the least symbol in the middle. She does have quite some power, so I wouldn't underestimate her. And then I place a link here. Read here about Gaia's Greek story. I thought at first that she was lunar due to the whole mother goddess nature aspect, but no. And that is it on Gaia, Mother Earth. So, does anyone have any questions on Gaia or about Gaia? Most of us are familiar with Gaia. I mean, Gaia's name has even stuck with civilization up to this day. When we use Gaia, any relatively intellectual person, any intellectual person can, any intellectual person will be familiar with Gaia. Code 919 is asking me whether I still play Age of Mythology. No. But I will admit that I fell in love with it when I first laid my eyes on it years ago when I still played video games. Last year, I just re-downloaded it out of boredom. You know, I only play a video game if I'm really, really bored. For the rest, I just want something to keep my hands busy. I need something to keep my hands busy. But yeah, I generally speaking, I don't play video games. I just outgrew video games. They just don't appeal to me or interest me anymore. But yeah, I still played Age of Mythology last year briefly. And yeah, as people that have played the video game know that it's a direct relation to mythological times and the Norse, Egyptian, or Greek pantheon. And you can choose Atlanteans too in the expansion, the Titans. So you can choose all of these gods, and that's where I learned from them. And I did my own occult research on them. Santik is asking, can she teach any power like communication with animals and plants or sometime nature like? She says yes, very much so, but up to a certain extent, depending on exactly what you want. Eric Anderson is asking me, can we talk about astral sex? Yeah, fine. Why not? Based on the whole Freya promiscuity, then yeah, I'm assuming that that's why you want to ask that question, and I don't mind. Since we're discussing miscellaneous things and everything's on the table, and it's not so much about pagan gods anymore or goddesses. So yeah, knock yourself out regarding astral sex. So yeah, let me know. Anyone have any questions on Gaia or anything else? Eric Anderson asked whatever you want to ask about astral sex, and yeah. Let me see. So again, let me know. Hmm. Again, ask whatever you want to ask, ladies and gentlemen. I am all ears. So yeah, anything that you have to ask it now. No one has any questions. Okay, so I'm going to continue with Uranus. The research file volume, blah, 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 Uranus. I covered Gaia in my previous article, and it's her husband's turn now to follow suit. He asked me after I wrote on her, of course, hence this article, the Greek primordial god Uranus was known as Father Sky or Protogenos. This piece will be short as there is not much to say. Despite his attributes as appointed by his followers back in the day, he is Martian, stands for and corresponds to 14 degrees in Aries. Is key word to keep in mind with this degree is alone, so solitude, and has aggressive or warlike tendencies and is good for all things Martian, e.g., courage, physical fortitude, strength, etc. He is distant or more timid because of his nature, though you think that he has air-based qualities based on his persona, as history indicates, but nope. Again, you need to look further. Help with heavy labor is also a thing to work with for a thing to work for him with. He appears as an old man in a blue robe or a younger version of this. No seal is also necessary to work with him. And yeah, he was the Greek personification of the sky. Anyone have any questions on Uranus? Eric Anderson says Gaia is a peaceful person. Doc Carbon is asking what the significance of the green man is. I have no answer to that. I have no opinion on that. Anyone have any questions about Uranus or Gaia or anyone else? Anything else? So nothing. Okay, I'm going to continue then, I think, with the last god. The Greek god Apollo was worshipped by the Greek people as god of the sun. I shall be writing about him. Apollo is mercurial, not solar, corresponds to Virgo, 3 degrees, stands for productivity, and a strong one at that. He is good for financial prosperity, health, physical health specifically, and getting work done in general. If one wishes to reach his ambitions, Apollo is a pagan god with whom that can be achieved. Of course, he's not the only one. Appearance is a man with red hair, wearing only pants or undergarments, so bare-chested. With bow and arrows, little else to be said. Read here for information on him, needless to say, as is the case in general. He can also do the opposite regarding his attributes, cause disease and poverty. This is the article on Apollo, Greek god of the sun. Doc Carbon is making a statement about Gaia mentioned in the Boneless ritual. No. As far as I know, Gaia is not mentioned in the Boneless ritual. I've done an article as well as a video on the Boneless ritual. Gaia is not mentioned in it. Yeah. There's not really a lot to say about Apollo. Too much to say even. Apollo is one of the most important complex of the Olympian deities in classical Greek and Roman religion and Greek and Roman mythology. The national divinity of the Greeks, Apollo has been variously recognized as a god of archery, music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and diseases, the sun and light, poetry and more. Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto and has a twin sister, the chastity huntress Artemis. Seen as the most beautiful god and the ideal of the chorus, a beardless athletic youth, Apollo is considered to be the most Greek of all gods. Apollo is known in Greek-influenced Etruscan mythology as Apullu. So yeah. Any questions in relation to Apollo or anything else?
Come right out on my racist scooter. I whip your ass. I whip your motherfucking ass.
Yeah, ignore my ringtone. Eric Anderson says, can we have sex with fairies? Nothing beyond intimacy in any case. Nothing of a physical nature as far as I know, because fairies are too small. Celestial Ruby has come online and she says, I think Dantelion mentions Gaia in his version of the Boneless Rite. You mean the Boneless Rite? I am not aware of the Boneless Rite having multiple versions, but the original version from the Goetia, the Boneless Ritual, I've covered that and expansively, and nowhere does it say anything of Gaia being mentioned. Okay. Do not make the mistake of confusing the Bornless one that is mentioned in the ritual with Gaia. It's not a reference to Gaia. The Code 919 is asking me how I know these entities' astrological correspondences from Wikipedia. No, from my own research. I'm reading from my own articles, okay? The general things that you hear me state are from Wikipedia. And yeah, that is it. Does anyone have any questions? Other questions, of course. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? Any other questions? Streaming for 115 minutes now, going on 2 hours. My local time is 9:42 p.m. 18 minutes to 10 p.m. So yeah, does anyone have any questions whatsoever? No questions, nothing, nada, zip. And with part 3, I think I'm going to I'm sorry. With part 3, I think I am going to with part 3, I think I'm going to this will be the last live stream on pagan gods specifically. I've pretty much covered every pagan god that I at the very least have on my website or that I've done a video on, and the others I just don't feel like doing. So yeah, Lazar, well, Jesus, I like the consistency you're having with the live stream. Yeah, sure, no problem. Celestial Ruby 888 says Franz Bardon also mentions the planetary spheres that back what you're saying, so your accuracy is on point. Yeah, thanks, I know. Gregory M says, hi Moreno, you're on fire. Streams this me question. Yeah. Is there a reason why we would work more with pagan gods than infernal or angelic spirits? Yes, for the sake of practicality. Listen, infernal and celestial spirits, or better said, angels and demons, celestial gods, celestial spirits, and holy spirits like elementals and whatnot, spirits that are pure and holy and divine, as well as the opposite, infernal and filthy spirits, spirits that are generally considered filth, or spirits that are just infernal in nature, like fallen angels and demons and whatnot, are not for everyone. Okay, you can work with any spirit you want. That's why you have several magical systems. If the same thing appealed to everyone, if everything appealed, if one magical system appeared to the majority of people, then you wouldn't have so many magical systems out there. But yeah, variety is the spice of life, as they say. And the reason for working with a specific god, a pagan god or a goddess, is simply because you feel more drawn to him or her or it due to whatever reason, just because you do so, or because of ancestral reasons. For example, if you were born in Norway and you're strong in touch with your Nordic roots, blah blah, etc., then yeah. Code 919 jokingly says I'm invoking Morino. That's a good one. Good luck with invoking me. Code 919 is asking me if Kali is celestial. No. Someone else says, what kind of stupid question is that? I'm dead serious. Kali is a pagan goddess, so she's obviously not celestial. She's pagan. Yeah, I have been streaming a lot. I'm aware of that and familiar with that. But again, I stream by necessity, not by just a random choice. I stream when I have specific topics in mind. That's why this is live stream number 12. So yeah, Gregory M says, okay, thanks. No problem. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions? And welcome, by the way. Again, if anyone has any questions, then yeah, I'm all ears. So yeah, let me know what is on your mind, and keep in mind, I'm pretty much done with pagan gods. So feel free to ask any miscellaneous question you would like to ask. Any question at all? Eric Anderson says next live stream talk about demons. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. We shall see. Code 919 is asking me how to confirm on whether astral sight has been developed. How to confirm? You'll just know. You need to go through the basic exercise set, and once you've done so, then yeah, you'll be able to. You'll simply be able to tell. You can confirm for yourself. If not, divinatory readings are always there to assist you. Doc Carbon is asking whether the Anunnaki feed on souls. No, the Anunnaki refers to Sumerian pantheon, and feeding on souls. No, nothing can feed on your soul. That's just stupid. No. Dorsho says thanks for your time. Also salutations to Sandalphon and Samael. They say hello too. He says hi and bye, Samael and Sandalphon too. So yeah, that is it. No questions from the people that usually ask me so many questions. Lazaro LG, Dorsho, Code 919, Gregory M, Nada Zip. Code 919 says just after developing astral sight, could I see the spirits by saying their name? No, not just like that, okay? With me, it's not something that happened overnight. I'm capable of doing so because I have mastered it to such a degree that talking to spirits for me, it's like talking to people. It's like calling someone, hey, how you there? Come get me. That's how easy it is for me to communicate with the spirits, and that is it. So yeah, if you by default develop astral sight, then you'll still have to summon a spirit deliberately before it appears. Darsusa, speaking of astral senses, is it normal to see the mirror turn into water sort of fluid? Not customary, no, but it doesn't matter. It's still a good effect. If you practice crying and your mirror turns, or better said, in front of your mirror, you see water like energy, then yeah, you're still on the right track. Yeah. Dorso says, nice, thanks. Eric Anderson says, what's the best spirit for polygamy? I don't know of a spirit that specifically specializes in polygamy. So, not a clue. So, yeah, let me know. Hmm. So, yeah, everything is on the table. Ask me anything. Code 919 says, if you offer food to a spirit, how long would you keep it at the altar? That all depends, okay? You need to clean it up after the food has already rotten, or you can just, generally speaking, clean it up in a couple of days. Let's just say 2 days on average. Not necessary unless the spirit tells you something else. Shout out to Sandalphon. Can you confirm he has connections with Sirius and dolphins? He says relating to dolphins, he rules over Earth and thereby all the animals, pretty much from a Kabbalistic perspective, so not just dolphins. And connection with Sirius, no, he has no connection. He says you might potentially be referring to Oriel. Oriel rules over the Earth from an astrological and cosmos perspective. Sandalphon does so from an elemental perspective. Eric Anderson says stop offering for Hekari anything. She accepts anything. Wealth related items, anything that you deem worthy as an offering, anything that you would offer yourself, she says. It's a matter of love your neighbor as thyself, as the Bible says, she says. Gregory says, when put on his altar, what does a pentacle do to the spirit? Help him in any way, or is it affecting us humans only? The pentacle affects specifically the spirit in terms of how his energy can manifest itself and how his energy will in what direction or what added effect, power effect is given. A pentacle can either be detrimental or a help. It can be a booster. Generally speaking, when summoning a spirit, the first pentacle of a planet, for example, the first pentacle of Mars, will serve as a booster and thereby make it easier to summon Martian spirits, regardless of what kind of spirits they are. Code 919 is asking me, can you make an altar and offer to a spirit even if there is no sigil or picture or a statue? Yes, you can do so. It works all by intent. As long as your intent is focused on the spirit that you have implemented or imprinted in the back of your mind or in your mind overall, then yes, you're good to go. Okay, yeah. Um, so I'm going to give everyone watching 5 more minutes for feedback. After that, I will be stopping the stream. 5 more minutes and then the stream will be stopped. I will stop the stream until stream stop. It's been enough. Code 919 says, if your enemy had the same patron as you and wanted to attack you, what would be the result? I've already addressed a similar question in a previous live stream. It's not a black and white matter. It all depends. But generally speaking, it depends on who is the most loyal, someone else says. Eric Anderson is asking what top offerings are for Astaroth and Abaddon. Well, that depends on their correspondence. You need to check their correspondence. Try asking them to and working with them. Or just general things like wealth-related items. Precious metals, literature, books are also good on complicated subjects or novels. In Astaroth's case, in Abaddon's case, just general offerings, wealth-related offerings. He says, yeah. So yeah, let me know. Homer Simpson says, is it possible to time leap? It's similar to time travel, but you travel back to your past body. You travel back to your past body. At the very least, not permanently. I'm not sure if it's possible, but even if it is possible, not permanently. It's a temporary state of being. Gregory says, do you do charts in order to know a spirit better? Depends. Charts are for knowing what a spirit can do and the personality of a spirit, what he has to offer, what his attributes are or her attributes. But if I want to know a spirit, whether I just talk to a spirit, and if I'm unsure on whether a spirit is telling the truth or genuinely doesn't know that part of himself or herself, then I confirm via divination. Divinations don't lie, so divinations will immediately tell me the who, the what, the where, the why, and the how. Couple of more minutes, let's just say 3 more minutes or so. Code 919 says, Muridong, my eternal gratitude to you. Thank you very much. You cleared every single doubt I have. Okay, thanks. Bye. If you're leaving, if not, then yeah. Stick around for the 3 more minutes. So yeah, let me know, you guys. You've got 3 more minutes, 180 seconds. Celestial Ruby says, what spirit works well for making someone relocate? Moving to another country or another part of the world that is significant in distance. For example, moving from one US state to another, moving from East Coast to West Coast or vice versa. Would be Batin, for example, and to a lesser extent, Sira. Particularly an ex-lover, yeah, that still applies what I said. Dry fasting for divination, Doc. Something is asking me, Doc Carbon. Dry fasting for divination, what do you mean exactly, dry fasting for divination? Hold on for a second, Celestial Ruby. I am going to give you the link to Batin's article and his the video that I did on him. Batin, there you go. You can read it and knock yourself out. He's a spirit that deals with relocations. Gregory M says, thanks, Murino, for those streams. Very informative. No problem. Code 919 says, last 2 minutes dedicated to Samael. Any other topic you haven't yet discussed about Samael? I have nothing on my mind relating to him. He says he feels honored, but yeah, there's not a lot to say. Homer Simpson is thanking me too for the live stream. No problem. Yeah. Celestial Ruby says thank you too. Yeah. 1 more minute to go, 60 seconds. Let me know what you've got on your mind. Doc Carbon says muchas gracias. Code 919 says goodbye, Morino. Most people are saying goodbye, thanks and goodbye. Okay, so no one has any other questions anymore. Bye to you too. Let me just place a waving hand emoji in the chat bar. Code 919 says 5. Yeah, bye. And it is officially done.